The house was dark when I pulled into the driveway at 6:40 p.m. I'd driven 4 hours from Yakima, still in my ACUs, duffel in the trunk. Before we continue, tell me where you're watching from in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories reach. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe. New stories every day. The porch light was off. That was the first wrong thing. I called Owen from the car. Voicemail. I tried Mom. Voicemail. The January cold bit through my jacket as I crossed the yard. Ice on the walkway, uncleared. Mail stacked against the door, days of it. I unlocked the house with my key. Inside, the air was dead. No heat. I checked the thermostat. 52 degrees. Someone had turned it off. Mom? Nothing. I walked through the living room. Her reading chair was empty. TV remote on the floor. Kitchen. Dishes piled in the sink. Garbage bag split and leaking. The stove was cold. I opened the fridge. Expired milk. Molded bread. A single yogurt cup from December 14th. I called her name again. This time, I heard it. A sound. Faint. Rhythmic. Coming from upstairs. I took the stairs fast. Her bedroom door was closed. I turned the handle. Locked. The sound was clearer now. Tapping. Weak. Irregular. Knuckles on wood. Mom, it's Sam. Are you in there? A voice. Thin. Cracked. Samuel. I put my shoulder into the door. The frame split on the second hit. The door swung open. The smell hit me first. Urine. Unwashed skin. Something sour and wrong. The room was freezing. Curtains drawn. She was on the bed, half sitting against the headboard, blankets tangled around her legs. Her face was gray, cheeks hollow, eyes sunken, ringed with shadow. She looked at me like I was a stranger. Mom. Jesus Christ. I crossed to her, touched her hand. It was ice. Her lips were cracked, white crust at the corners. Dehydration. I'd seen it in field hospitals. This was bad. When did you last drink water? She blinked, slow. I don't know. I grabbed the glass on her nightstand. Empty. Dust at the bottom. I went to the bathroom, filled it from the tap, brought it back. She drank in small sips, hands shaking. How long have you been in here? I don't. No, days, she said. She said she'd be back. Who? She looked at me. For a moment, clarity broke through. Lucy. I called 911, told them what I'd found. They said an ambulance was coming. I asked if I should move her. They said no. Keep her warm. Keep her talking. I found a clean blanket in the hall closet, wrapped it around her shoulders. She gripped my arm. She locked me in. I know, she said. You wouldn't come. She said no one would. I'm here now. The ambulance took 12 minutes. 2 EMTs, a woman named Torres and a man whose name I didn't catch. They assessed her vitals, started an IV for fluids. Torres looked at me. How long was she like this? I don't know. I was gone for a month. Who was taking care of her? My sister-in-law, Lucy Harding. Torres wrote that down. You're her son? Yes. We need to transport her. Probable diabetic ketoacidosis, malnutrition, possible sepsis. You can follow us to Sacred Heart. I locked the house and followed their lights through the city. At the ER, they took Mom back immediately. A doctor came out 20 minutes later. Young guy, glasses, tired eyes. Dr. Fan. She's stable. We're admitting her for observation. Severe dehydration, malnutrition, early-stage bed sores. How long was she alone? I don't know. Do you suspect neglect? I looked at him. Yes. He nodded. We're required to report this. A social worker will contact you. They let me see her an hour later. She was asleep, IV drip running. Her face looked smaller under the hospital lights. I sat in the chair by the bed and pulled out my phone. 14 missed calls from Owen, all from the last 3 hours. I didn't call back. Instead, I opened Mom's banking app. I'd set it up for her last year, joint access in case of emergency. I scrolled through the transactions. January 4th, ATM withdrawal, $500, Lucy's usual branch. January 6th, ATM withdrawal, $800. January 9th, ATM withdrawal, $600. January 11th, ATM withdrawal, $700. I scrolled back further. December, November. It went back 4 months. $19,700 total. All ATM withdrawals, all from the same location. I took screenshots. Mom's jewelry box came to mind. I'd given her a silver bracelet for Christmas. Owen had given her earrings. I made a note to check the house. My phone buzzed. Owen. I let it ring. Another buzz. Text. Just landed. Where's Mom? Why aren't you answering? I typed back. Sacred Heart ER. Get here. I stayed until 11 p.m. A nurse told me to go home. Get rest. Mom wouldn't wake until morning. I drove back to the house. The broken door hung crooked on its hinges. I didn't fix it. I wanted it visible. I went through the house room by room. Mom's jewelry box. Empty, except for a tarnished chain. Her medication organizer. Empty. Prescription bottles. Gone. I checked the closet. Half her clothes were missing. I found a suitcase in the garage, packed full. Women's clothes, not Mom's size. I sat on the couch and opened my phone. I called the non-emergency line for Spokane PD. Told them I wanted to file a report. They said an officer would come by in the morning. At 11:47 p.m., Owen called again. Sam, what the hell happened? Where are you? I just got to the hospital. They won't let me see her. What happened? Where's Lucy? Silence. Owen, where is your wife? She's at home. Sam, what? Tell her I'm filing a police report tomorrow. For what? Elder abuse, theft, neglect, fraud. Pick one. What are you talking about? I hung up. I didn't sleep. I sat in Mom's cold house and went through every drawer, every closet, every box. I made a list. I took pictures. At 5:30 a.m., I made coffee and watched the sky lighten over the frozen yard. Crows gathered on the fence posts, 6 of them, black against gray. They sat in a line, not moving, just watching. My phone buzzed. Owen. Lucy says she visited every day. She says you're lying. I set the phone face down on the table. I thought about Mom's voice. She said you wouldn't come. I thought about the locked door. I thought about $19,700. At 7:15 a.m., there was a knock. I opened the door. A Spokane PD officer stood on the porch. Middle-aged woman. Name tag. Ramirez. You called about a report? Yes. She looked past me at the broken bedroom doorframe visible at the top of the stairs. Let's start with what you found. I told her everything. She took notes. She photographed the door. She asked for the bank screenshots. I sent them to her email. Do you know where the sister-in-law is now? Her house. She lives with my brother. We'll follow up. You should get an emergency protective order and talk to Adult Protective Services. I will. She handed me her card. If she contacts you, don't engage. Document everything. After she left, I sat at the kitchen table. Mom's pill bottles, the ones Lucy had taken, were evidence now. I made a list of everything missing. The silver bracelet, the earrings, a gold locket, a jade ring. I looked up pawn shops near Lucy's address, found 3 within 2 miles. My phone buzzed. Lucy, I don't know what you think happened, but you're wrong. I took care of her. She's confused. You should be grateful. I didn't reply. I took a screenshot. I drove to the first pawn shop at 9 a.m., showed them a photo of Mom's bracelet. The clerk pulled up records, sold 3 weeks ago. Cash transaction, name on the receipt, Lucy Harding. Can I get a copy of this? Sure. I went to the next shop, found the earrings, same name, $340. The locket, $180. Total, $8,400. I collected the receipts and drove back to the hospital. Mom was awake. A social worker was sitting by her bed. She introduced herself. Carla Moss, Adult Protective Services. I've been talking with your mother. She's given permission for me to speak with you. Okay. She's told me she was locked in her room, that Lucy Harding had control of her bank account, that she was denied food and medication. Is that consistent with what you found? Yes. I'm opening an investigation. We'll need documentation, bank records, police reports, medical records. I have all of it. She nodded. We'll also need to determine if she's safe to return home. She's not going back there, not until Lucy is gone. We'll work on that. After Carla left, I sat with Mom. She was more alert. She looked at me. Where's Owen? I don't know. He'll believe her. I didn't answer. I knew she was right. At 2 p.m., Owen showed up. He walked into the room, saw Mom, stopped. His face went pale. "Mom." She looked away. He turned to me. "Sam, we need to talk outside." I followed him into the hallway. He shut the door. "Lucy says you're lying. Lucy locked her in a room and stole $20,000. That's insane!" I pulled out my phone, showed him the bank screenshots, the pawn receipts, the police report number. He stared at the screen. She said Mom was fine. She said she visited every day. She didn't. How do you know? The neighbors, the hospital security footage, the fact that Mom nearly died. His hand shook. He gave me back the phone. "I need to talk to Lucy. You need to decide whose side you're on." I walked back into Mom's room and closed the door behind me. She was watching the window. A crow sat on the ledge outside. Black wings, black eyes. "Samuel?" she whispered. "Don't let her take the house." I looked at her. "I won't." That night, I went back to the house. I searched the office. Found the deed in a file cabinet. Mom's name, sole owner. Clipped to it was a quitclaim deed, unsigned. Lucy's name typed in as grantee. The notary seal was blank. I took a photo of it. I put the original deed in my truck. I locked the file cabinet. At 11 p.m., my phone buzzed. Owen. Lucy showed me her calendar. She has notes from every visit. I didn't reply. I sat in the cold kitchen and watched the crows settle on the fence. The house was silent. The thermostat was still off. I left it that way. Mom's prescription bottles sat on the counter. Empty. I counted them. 7. I made a new list. I called my supervisor at the EMT station Monday morning. Told him I needed unpaid leave. Family emergency. He asked how long. I said I didn't know. "Take what you need, Sam. We'll cover your shifts." I packed a bag at my apartment and drove back to Mom's house. The hospital was keeping her for 72 hours minimum. Observation, IV antibiotics, physical therapy. Dr. Fan said her cognitive state was improving with hydration and proper nutrition. He used the word deprivation twice. The house was exactly as I'd left it. Broken door, cold air. I turned the thermostat to 68 and listened to the furnace struggle to life. I started in the office. Mom kept files for everything, organized by year, labeled in her careful handwriting. I pulled the 2020-2021 folders. Her bank statements went back 18 months. I laid them out on the dining table in chronological order. July 2020. Her account showed $43,200. Dad's life insurance payout, his pension rollover, her teacher's retirement savings. Stable. August 2020. First irregularity. A $200 ATM withdrawal she wouldn't have made. She didn't drive anymore. September, $400. October, $600. By November, the pattern was clear. Every 3 to 5 days, an ATM withdrawal. Always between $300 and $800. Always from the same KeyBank branch on North Division, 2 blocks from Lucy and Owen's house. I made a spreadsheet. Date, amount, location, running total. By January 10th, 2021, $19,700 was gone. I took photos of every page. Next, I checked her checkbook register. Mom still balanced it by hand, a habit from 40 years of teaching. Her last entry was October 3rd. After that, nothing. I looked for the checkbook itself, not in her desk, not in her purse. I found her purse in the coat closet, contents dumped on the floor, wallet empty, license, credit cards, insurance cards, gone. I made another list. At 10:30 a.m., I walked to the neighbor's house. Mrs. Alvarez, 72, lived next door for 16 years. She answered on the second knock. "Samuel, I heard about your mother. Is she all right?" "She's in the hospital. Can I ask you some questions?" "Of course. Come in." We sat in her kitchen. She made tea I didn't drink. "When did you last see my mom?" "December, maybe the 15th. She waved from the window. I waved back. "Did you see Lucy, my sister-in-law?" Mrs. Alvarez's face changed. "Yes, she came by often." "How often?" "Every few days. She'd park in the driveway, go inside, leave with boxes or bags. I thought she was helping Margaret with errands." "Did my mom ever come outside?" "No, not since. November, maybe? I thought it was the cold. She doesn't like winter." "Did Lucy ever stay long?" 10 minutes. 15 at most." "Did you ever see her bring groceries? Medication?" Mrs. Alvarez looked down at her tea. "No. Would you be willing to write that down? For a police report?" She nodded slowly. "If it helps Margaret." I gave her Officer Ramirez's card. She said she'd call. I visited 3 more neighbors that afternoon. Same story. Lucy came and went. Mom didn't. No groceries, no pharmacy bags, no sign of care. 2 of them agreed to provide statements. At 4:00 p.m., I drove to the KeyBank branch on North Division. I parked across the street and watched. Lucy's car, a white Acura MDX, new, leased, was in the lot. I waited. She came out at 4:22 p.m. wearing a long coat, heels, sunglasses. She looked like someone who had never missed a meal in her life. I took a photo of her car, license plate visible. She drove north toward her house. I didn't follow. Instead, I went inside the bank, asked to speak with a manager. A woman named Sharon greeted me in a small office. "How can I help you?" "I need to report fraudulent activity on my mother's account." I showed her my ID, showed her the account number, explained the situation. She pulled up the account on her screen. "I see a secondary signer was added in August, Lucy Harding." "My mother didn't add her. She has cognitive decline. She was coerced." Sharon's expression didn't change. "Do you have documentation of her incapacity?" "Medical records from Sacred Heart. She was admitted Friday for malnutrition and neglect. I can have them sent over." "We'll need that, and a police report number." I gave her both. "We'll freeze the account pending investigation. It can take 10 to 15 business days." "That's fine. If fraud is confirmed, we'll reverse the charges and pursue criminal restitution." "Thank you." She printed a summary of the withdrawals. I added it to my folder. That evening, I went back to the hospital. Mom was sitting up, eating Jell-O. Color had returned to her face. Carla Moss, the APS social worker, was there. "Good timing," Carla said. "We're discussing next steps." "She can't go home alone," I said. "Agreed. We're looking at skilled nursing facilities. Short term, until she's stable." Mom looked at me. "I don't want to leave my house." "You won't. Not permanently. But you need care. Will you stay there?" "Yes." She nodded, picked at the Jell-O. Carla pulled me into the hallway. I spoke with Officer Ramirez. She's forwarding the case to the Financial Crimes Unit. They'll want to interview Lucy. "Good. How's your brother handling this?" "He's not. That's common. Family denial is the hardest part of these cases. He'll come around. Or he won't." I didn't argue. At 7 p.m., Owen showed up. He walked past me without speaking and went into Mom's room. I heard low voices. 5 minutes later, he came back out. "She looks better. She's getting actual food and medicine." He flinched. "Sam, Lucy swears she was visiting. She has a calendar. A calendar she made after the fact. You don't know that." I pulled out my phone, showed him Mrs. Alvarez's statement, the bank records, the pawn shop receipts. "This is $100,000. That's fraud. That's theft. That's elder abuse. You want to keep defending her, fine, but don't pretend the evidence doesn't exist." His jaw tightened. "Lucy says you've hated her since the wedding. Lucy locked our mother in a room and let her starve. She wouldn't." "She did." He looked at me for a long moment. Then he walked away. I went back into Mom's room. She was staring at the window. It was dark outside. No crows. "He doesn't believe you," she said. "Not yet. He loves her." "I know." She closed her eyes. "I'm tired, Samuel. Get some rest." I stayed until she fell asleep. The next morning, I got a call from Officer Ramirez. She said a detective from Financial Crimes wanted to meet. His name was Kowalski. We scheduled for 2 p.m. at the house. I spent the morning organizing evidence, bank statements, pawn receipts, neighbor statements, photos of the locked door, the empty pill bottles, the unsigned quitclaim deed. Detective Kowalski arrived at 2:00 sharp. Mid-40s. Gray suit, tired eyes. He sat at the dining table and reviewed everything. "This is thorough. I'm a medic. I document. Good habit." He made notes. "The DA will want to interview your mother. Is she competent to testify? Getting better. She was confused from dehydration. Now she's clear. We'll need a cognitive evaluation, and we'll need to bring Lucy in for questioning." "When?" "Soon. We'll coordinate with APS." He tapped the quitclaim deed. "This is attempted fraud. If she'd succeeded, your mother would have lost the house." "I know. You did the right thing moving fast." He left at 3:30. I sat alone in the dining room, looking at the stacks of paper. Evidence of 4 months of theft, 4 months of cruelty. My phone buzzed. "Lucy, I heard you're spreading lies about me. This is harassment. My lawyer says I can file a restraining order. I took a screenshot, didn't reply. At 5 p.m., my phone rang. Owen. Sam, Lucy's freaking out. She says the police want to question her. They do. Why? Yeah, because she committed multiple felonies. Jesus Christ, Sam, she made a mistake. She stole $28,100 and locked Mom in a room. Silence. Owen, if you have something to say, say it. I don't understand how this happened. You were gone. You trusted her. She lied. She says Mom gave her permission. Mom didn't. The bank has timestamps. Lucy withdrew money while Mom was locked in her bedroom, dehydrated and confused. That's not permission. That's exploitation. More silence. I need to think. Think fast. The DA's building a case. He hung up. I made dinner. Canned soup, crackers, ate standing at the counter. The house was warm now, but it still felt empty. At 8 p.m., there was a knock on the door. I opened it. Lucy stood on the porch. No coat, just a sweater. Mascara smudged. She looked smaller than I remembered. Can we talk? No. Sam, please. I know you're angry, but you need to leave. I was helping her. She gets confused. And you stole her money. You locked her in her room. You let her almost die. That's not what happened. I have the bank records, the pawn receipts, the medical reports. I have witnesses. Her face shifted. The tears stopped. Something cold moved behind her eyes. You have no idea what it's like, taking care of someone like her. She's exhausting. She forgets everything. She accuses me of things I didn't do. You pawned her jewelry. She gave it to me. You forged a quitclaim deed. I was trying to help her manage her assets. Get off the porch! She didn't move. Owen won't believe you. He already does. You're wrong. She turned and walked to her car. I watched her drive away. Then I locked the door. Both deadbolts. I sat at the table and opened my laptop. I wrote an email to Detective Kowalski, attached the screenshot of Lucy's text, described the visit, subject line, contact from Lucy Harding, January 19, 2021, 8:04 p.m. Sent. At 10 p.m., I checked on Mom. She was sleeping. Vital stable. A nurse told me they were discharging her Thursday to a skilled nursing facility on the South Hill. Temporary placement, 2 to 4 weeks. I drove home. The house was dark. I left the porch light on. Inside, I sat on the couch and stared at the empty pill bottles lined up on the coffee table. 7 bottles. I picked up the first one. Metformin, for diabetes. Prescribed by Dr. Lin. Last refill, October 2020. The second, lisinopril. Blood pressure. Last refill, October 2020. The third, atorvastatin. Cholesterol. Last refill, October 2020. October. The month Lucy added herself to the bank account. I set the bottles down. My phone buzzed. Owen. Lucy showed me texts from Mom. She asked Lucy for help with bills. She said she wanted Lucy on the account. I stared at the screen. Then I called him. Owen, listen to me. Mom doesn't text. She can barely use her phone. These are from her number. Lucy had access to her phone. She could have sent anything. Why would she do that? To cover herself. Sam, you're being paranoid. I'm being thorough. And when this goes to trial, you're going to have to decide if you want to be subpoenaed as a witness for the defense or the prosecution. He hung up. I sat in the dark. The furnace kicked on. The house creaked. Outside, something moved in the yard. I looked through the window. Crows. 4 of them. Perched on the fence, black shapes against the snow. I watched them until they flew away. Then I opened my laptop and started a new document. Title: Evidence Log, Margaret Harding Case. I worked until 2 a.m. Every transaction, every date, every witness, every lie. When I finished, I printed 2 copies. One for Detective Kowalski, one for the DA. I put them in a folder on the kitchen table. On top, I placed the unsigned quitclaim deed. Then I went to bed. The last thing I heard before sleep was the wind rattling the windows and the sound of the deadbolt locked tight. Thursday morning, I moved Mom to Cascade View Skilled Nursing on the South Hill. It was a clean facility, bright windows, staff that made eye contact, no smell of urine in the hallways, better than most I'd seen. Her room was small. Single bed, television, a window overlooking a courtyard with bare trees. I unpacked her things. Pajamas, slippers, the photo of Dad she kept on her nightstand. She sat in the chair by the window and didn't speak. "It's temporary," I said. "I know. 2 weeks, maybe 3, then you can come home." She looked at the courtyard. A squirrel ran across the frozen grass. "Will Lucy be gone by then?" "Yes," she nodded. Didn't ask how I knew, just accepted it. A nurse came in to review medications. I watched her check the list against Mom's chart. All 7 prescriptions properly dosed, properly scheduled. The nurse's name was Rita. She was kind. "We'll take good care of her." "Thank you." I stayed until lunch. Mom ate half a sandwich, drank apple juice. Rita said that was good progress. I kissed Mom's forehead and told her I'd visit tomorrow. She gripped my hand. "Don't let Owen give her anything." "I won't." In the parking lot, I sat in my truck and called Carla Moss. "Margaret's settled at Cascade View." "Good. I'm scheduling her cognitive evaluation for next week. The DA's office wants it before they proceed." "When will they question Lucy?" "Detective Kowalski is coordinating that. Soon." "What about the bank investigation?" "Still pending. These things take time, Sam." "We don't have time." "Lucy's building a defense." "I know, but we have to follow process." I hung up, sat there. A crow landed on the hood of my truck, cocked its head, flew away. I drove to Mom's house. The mailbox was full again. Bills, catalogs, a letter from the Spokane County Assessor. I opened it inside. Property tax notice. Due February 15th, $2,140. I checked Mom's frozen bank account balance online. $14,600 remaining after Lucy's withdrawals. Enough to cover it, but the account was locked pending investigation. I called the assessor's office, explained the situation. They said I could request a payment extension with documentation of financial fraud. I said I'd send it. One more task, one more fire to put out. At 2 p.m., my phone rang. "Owen, I need to talk to you." "About what?" "Not over the phone. Can you meet me?" "Where?" "Mom's house. I'm outside." I looked through the window. His truck was in the driveway. I opened the door. Owen stood on the porch, hands in his coat pockets. His face was gray. "Come in." He sat at the dining table. I stayed standing. "What is it?" He pulled out his phone, set it on the table. I went through Lucy's credit card statements. I waited. There's a lot of charges I didn't know about. Caesar's Palace, MGM Grand, the Venetian. Las Vegas, yeah. 4 trips. November, December, twice in January. He looked up. I was overseas for 3 of them. She said she was visiting her sister in Portland. Her sister lives in Portland? No, she lives in Tacoma. I checked. I sat down across from him. What else? There's cash advances, $12,000 total. I didn't authorize them. She has her own card on my account, but I thought... He stopped. I thought she was using it for groceries. Did you ask her about it? She said it was a misunderstanding, that she'd pay it back. With what money? He didn't answer. Owen, how much debt does she have? I don't know. She handles her own accounts. Did you co-sign anything? Loans? Credit cards? Just the car lease. Have you checked your credit report? His face went paler. No. You should. He picked up his phone, hands shaking, pulled up a credit monitoring app. I watched his expression change. What is it? There's accounts I didn't open. A Discover card. A personal loan from Wells Fargo. How much? The card's maxed at $15,000. The loan is $26,000. I did the math. That's $41,000. Plus the $12,000 in cash advances. He set the phone down. Sam, that's $53,000. Did you sign for any of it? No, but we're married. Community property state. I'm liable. I leaned back, watched him. He looked like he might be sick. When did you last check your credit? I don't know, a year ago, maybe more. Did Lucy ever ask you to sign financial documents? Sometimes. Refinancing stuff. Insurance. I didn't read them. I just signed. Jesus, Owen. I trusted her. That was a mistake. He looked at me, something broken in his eyes. How long have you known? About the Vegas trips? Just now. About the theft from Mom? Since Saturday. Why didn't you tell me? I did. You didn't believe me. He didn't argue. Just sat there. What do? You talk to a lawyer. You freeze your accounts. You file a police report for identity theft. She's my wife. She's a thief, and she nearly killed our mother. He stood up, paced to the window, stared out at nothing. I keep thinking, if I just stayed home, if I hadn't taken that Singapore route. This isn't your fault. Isn't it? No, it's hers. He turned. What happens now? The DA files charges. Lucy gets arrested. You decide if you're going to protect her or protect yourself. I can't just... Yes, you can. You get a lawyer. You file for divorce. You cooperate with the prosecution. Or you go down with her. He looked at me for a long moment. I need to think. Think fast. He left. I watched his truck pull away. Then I called Detective Kowalski. Sam Harding, I have new information. Go ahead. Lucy has $53,000 in undisclosed debt, gambling charges in Vegas. My brother just found out. He's willing to provide credit card statements and boarding passes. That's good. That establishes motive and pattern of deception. Can he come in for an interview? I think so. Have him call me. I texted Owen the detective's number. Didn't wait for a reply. At 4 p.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered. Mr. Harding? This is David Brennan from Brennan & Associates. I represent Lucy Harding. I'm not discussing this with you. I'm calling as a courtesy. My client denies all allegations. She's prepared to file a civil suit for defamation and harassment. She can file whatever she wants. She has documentation showing your mother consented to financial assistance, text messages, emails, signed authorizations. Your client forged those. That's a serious accusation. So is elder abuse. Mr. Harding, my client is a respected member of the community. She volunteers at her church. She has no criminal record. Meanwhile, you've been undergoing treatment for PTSD following your wife's death. Your credibility is questionable. I went still. What did you just say? I'm simply pointing out that grief can distort perception. Perhaps you've misinterpreted. My wife died of cancer. That has nothing to do with this. Doesn't it? You're clearly struggling. Maybe you're projecting your anger onto Lucy. Maybe... I hung up. Sat there, breathing, hands in fists. My wife, Sarah, dead 22 months. Ovarian cancer, stage 4. 6 months from diagnosis to hospice. Lucy knew that. She'd been at the funeral. She'd hugged me. She'd said, "I'm so sorry." Now her lawyer was using it as a weapon. I opened my laptop, searched for Brennan & Associates, small firm, 2 attorneys, David Brennan, criminal defense, mostly DUIs and drug charges. I made a note. Then I called my own lawyer, guy I knew from the VA, Patrick Riley. He handled veterans benefits cases, but he'd know who to refer me to. Sam, what's going on? I told him everything. The abuse, the theft, the investigation, Lucy's counter-narrative. You need a civil attorney. And you need to document every contact Lucy or her lawyer makes. I am. Good. I'll send you a referral. In the meantime, don't engage with Brennan. Let the DA handle the criminal case. You focus on protecting your mother's assets. What about Owen? If he's cooperative, he helps the case. If he's not, he becomes a liability. He's cooperating, I think. Make sure. After we hung up, I drove to Cascade View. Visiting hours until 8 p.m. Mom was in bed watching TV, a cooking show. She muted it when I came in. How are you feeling? Better. They gave me real food. I sat in the chair. Mom, did you ever text Lucy? Ask her for help with bills? I don't text. I can barely see the buttons. Did you sign anything for her? Authorizations, documents? I don't remember. She brought me papers sometimes, said they were for insurance. I signed them. When? I don't know. October? November? Do you remember what they said? No. She said Owen needed them. I trusted her. I nodded, kept my voice even. If Lucy's lawyer calls you or visits, don't talk to him. Tell the staff to send him away. Why would he visit? Because he's going to try to make you say you gave Lucy permission. She looked at me, fear in her eyes. I didn't. I know, but he'll twist your words, so don't give him any. Okay. I stayed until she fell asleep. Rita walked me out. Is someone bothering her? Maybe. If a lawyer shows up asking to see her, call me immediately. We don't allow unauthorized visitors. Good. I drove home. The house was dark except for the porch light. Inside, I made coffee, sat at the table, opened my evidence file, added Lucy's lawyer's threat, Owen's credit report, the Vegas trips. The document was 32 pages now. At 10 p.m., my phone buzzed. Owen. I called Detective Kowalski. He wants me to come in tomorrow. I replied. Good. Tell him everything. Owen. I don't know if I can do this. Me. You don't have a choice. No response. I finished my coffee, washed the cup, locked the doors. In the bedroom, I lay awake. The house was silent. No wind, no crows, just the sound of my own breathing. I thought about Sarah, how she'd fought, how she'd lost, how I'd held her hand in the hospice bed and promised I'd be okay. I wasn't okay, but I was functional, and I was angry. Lucy's lawyer had made a mistake. He'd tried to weaponize my grief. Now I had one more reason to see this through. At 11:30 p.m., I got up, went to the office, pulled the filing cabinet open, found the folder labeled Sarah, medical records. Inside, hospice intake forms, death certificate, memorial service program. I took photos of the death certificate, dated March 18, 2019. Cause, metastatic ovarian carcinoma. Then I emailed them to Patrick Riley with a note. Lucy's lawyer is claiming I'm unreliable due to PTSD from my wife's death. Attached is proof Sarah died of cancer. This is defamation. Advise, sent. I closed the folder, put it back, stood in the dark office, and looked at the empty filing cabinet where Mom's deed had been, the unsigned quitclaim, Lucy's attempt to steal the house. If she'd succeeded, Mom would be homeless, and I'd be fighting an eviction instead of a criminal case. I thought about the locked bedroom door, the empty pill bottles, the $19,700. I thought about the crows on the fence, watching. Then I went to bed. Tomorrow, Owen would talk to the detective. Tomorrow, the investigation would move forward. Tomorrow, Lucy would learn that her lawyer's threats meant nothing. I closed my eyes. The last thing I heard was the furnace clicking off, and the sound of the deadbolt, locked tight. Friday morning, Owen went to the police station. I didn't go with him. He needed to do this alone. I stayed at Mom's house and worked through the property tax extension paperwork. Attached the police report, the APS investigation number, the bank fraud claim. Faxed it to the assessor's office at 9:15 a.m. At 10:30, Detective Kowalski called. Your brother's here. He's providing statements and documentation. This is good, Sam. It establishes pattern and motive. What happens next? I forward everything to the DA. They decide whether to file charges. Given the evidence, I'd say it's likely. How long? Could be today. Could be Monday. Depends on their caseload. Will they arrest her? If charges are filed, yes. We'll coordinate with her attorney for surrender. Keep it clean. And the bank investigation? Still pending, but your brother's identity theft claims will accelerate it. After he hung up, I sat at the table, stared at the evidence file. 32 pages. 3 weeks of work. 3 weeks of rebuilding what Lucy had destroyed. My phone buzzed. Patrick Riley. Sam, I reviewed the defamation issue. Lucy's lawyer making claims about your mental state could be actionable, but it's a distraction. Focus on the criminal case. If he persists, we'll address it. Understood. Also, I'm referring you to Margaret Chen. She handles elder law and guardianship. You should petition for emergency guardianship of your mother. It'll prevent Lucy from accessing her or her assets. How fast can that happen? If you file today, hearing by Wednesday. Bring the medical records, the APS report, and the police report. I'll do it. He gave me her number. I called immediately. Margaret Chen's paralegal said she could see me at 2 p.m. I drove to her office downtown. Small firm, 3rd floor of an old brick building. Margaret Chen was 50, efficient, no nonsense. She reviewed my documentation for 20 minutes without speaking. Then she looked up. This is one of the clearest cases of exploitation I've seen. I can file the emergency petition this afternoon. Hearing is Wednesday at 9 a.m. You'll need to testify. So will the APS social worker. What about Lucy? Will she be there? She can contest it. Given the criminal investigation, I doubt her attorney will advise that. What does guardianship give me? Full authority over your mother's medical, financial, and legal decisions. Lucy loses all access. If she contacts your mother, it's a violation. Good. There's a filing fee, $320, plus my retainer, $2,500. I wrote the check. She handed me forms to sign. I signed them all. I'll have these filed by 4:00 p.m. You'll get a copy of the hearing notice by email tonight. I drove back to Mom's house. It was 3:30. The sun was low, pale through bare branches. No crows today, just silence. Inside, I made coffee and waited. At 5:45 p.m., my phone rang. Detective Kowalski. The DA filed charges an hour ago. I set my cup down. What are the charges? Criminal exploitation of a vulnerable adult, theft in the first degree, forgery, identity theft. 4 felonies. Warrant issued. We're coordinating with her attorney for surrender Monday morning. What's the bail? DA's requesting $50,000. Given flight risk and the Vegas trips, judge will likely approve it. When's arraignment? Monday afternoon. She'll plead, bail hearing, trial date set, standard process. Will Owen be subpoenaed? As a witness, yes. Probably for both the state and defense. He's cooperative so far. That helps. After we hung up, I sat in the dark kitchen. The house was quiet. Outside, streetlights flickered on. 4 felonies. Lucy was going to be arrested. I called Owen. He answered on the 3rd ring. The DA filed charges. Silence. Owen? I heard. Are you okay? No. His voice was flat. I just watched my wife's life end. She did this to herself. I know. Doesn't make it easier. Where is she? At our house. She doesn't know yet. Her lawyer's going to call her tonight. What are you going to do? I called a divorce attorney. I have a consultation Monday morning. Good. Sam, He stopped. I'm sorry, I should have listened to you. Yeah? I should have checked on Mom more. You can't fix it now. You can only move forward. I don't know how. You keep cooperating. You testify. You get yourself clean of this. He didn't answer. I heard something in the background, a door closing. I have to go. He hung up. I sat there, thought about Owen, about the weight he was carrying, about the choice he'd made, finally, to believe evidence over love. At 7:00 p.m., I drove to Cascade View, visiting hours. Mom was in the common room watching TV with 3 other residents. She looked up when I came in. Samuel. We went to her room. She sat in the chair by the window, dark outside now, just reflections in the glass. How are you feeling? Tired. They make me walk in the hallway. My legs hurt. That's physical therapy. It's good for you. I don't like it. I pulled the other chair close. Mom, I need to tell you something. The district attorney filed charges against Lucy today. She's going to be arrested Monday. She looked at me. No surprise. Just a slow nod. Good. There's going to be a court hearing Wednesday. I'm petitioning for guardianship. It means I'll have legal authority to make decisions for you. Medical, financial, everything. Will Lucy be able to visit? No. Good. She turned back to the window, stared at her own reflection. I should have known. She was always too nice, too helpful. It's not your fault. I signed the papers, Samuel. I let her on the bank account. You were confused. She took advantage of that. Your father would be ashamed of me. No, he wouldn't. She didn't respond, just sat there, small and tired. I stayed until 8:30. When I left, she was watching TV again. A nature documentary, Whales. I drove home, checked my email. Margaret Chen had sent the hearing notice. Wednesday, February 3rd, 9 a.m., Spokane County Superior Court. I printed it, added it to the file. At 10 p.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. Listened to it 2 minutes later. David Brennan, Lucy's lawyer. Mr. Harding, I'm calling to inform you that my client has been made aware of the charges filed against her. She maintains her innocence and will vigorously defend herself. Any further contact you make with her will be considered harassment and reported to the court. Additionally, my client is considering a civil suit for malicious prosecution and defamation. I strongly advise you to cease all actions against her immediately. I deleted it, took a screenshot of the call log, sent it to Detective Kowalski with a note. Lucy's attorney attempting intimidation. For the record. Saturday morning, I went to the house. Checked the mail. A letter from KeyBank. I opened it. Account investigation complete. Fraudulent activity confirmed. Total unauthorized withdrawals, $19,700. Funds will be restored to account within 10 business days. Secondary signer removed. New account number issued. I read it 3 times. Then I called the bank, confirmed it. The money was coming back. I sat at the dining table, stared at the letter. $19,700 restored. It didn't erase what Lucy had done, but it was something. At noon, my phone rang. Carla Moss. Sam, I wanted to update you. Margaret's cognitive evaluation is scheduled for Tuesday. A neuropsychologist will assess her capacity to testify. And if she's not competent, then her prior statements and the medical evidence carry more weight. But I think she'll be fine. She's improving daily. Good. Also, I heard about the charges. That's a good outcome. It's a start. After we hung up, I drove to Cascade View. Found Mom in the courtyard. She was sitting on a bench, bundled in a coat, watching birds. Mind if I join you? No. I sat. The air was cold but still. A chickadee landed on a bare branch, flicked its tail, flew away. They come every day, she said. Same time. Birds like routine. So do I. We sat in silence. After a while, she spoke again. When can I go home? Soon. Another week. Maybe 2. Will you be there? Yes. Will Owen? I don't know. She nodded, pulled her coat tighter. I don't want to see Lucy again. You won't, I promise. Good. We stayed until she got cold. I walked her back inside. Rita was at the nurse's station. How's she doing? Physically, much better. Emotionally, she's processing. It takes time. Let me know if she needs anything. We will. I left at 2 acts. Drove toward home. Stopped at a red light on Division. Looked left. Lucy's white Acura, 2 cars over. She was in the driver's seat, sunglasses on, phone to her ear. She didn't see me. The light turned green. I followed her. 3 blocks. She turned into a parking lot. I kept going, but I noted the location. A law office, Brennan and Associates, meeting with her attorney. Sunday, I stayed home. Cleaned the house, paid bills, made a grocery run. At 4 p.m., Owen called. I met with the divorce attorney this morning. And? I'm filing for legal separation. Not divorce yet, just separation. So I'm not liable for anything else she does. Smart. He said the DA might subpoena our financial records, joint accounts, credit cards, all of it. They will. What do I do? You cooperate, you provide everything they ask for, you don't protect her. I'm not. He stopped. This is my wife, Sam. She's a criminal. I know. Silence. Are you going to the arraignment? He asked. No, but I'll know the outcome. I have to be there. The DA wants me in case bail is contested. Then you go. Okay. He hung up. That night, I couldn't sleep. Lay in bed and stared at the ceiling. Thought about Monday. Lucy's arrest. Owen's testimony. The machinery moving forward. At 2 a.m., I got up, went to the kitchen, made coffee, sat at the table and opened the evidence file. 32 pages. I added the bank restoration letter, the guardianship hearing notice, Owen's separation filing. 35 pages now. I closed the file. Tomorrow, Lucy would surrender. Tomorrow, she'd be fingerprinted, photographed, processed. Tomorrow, the cage would begin to close. I finished my coffee, washed the cup. Outside, snow was falling, light, slow, silent. I watched it through the window until the sky turned gray. Then I went to bed, and this time, I slept. Monday morning, Lucy surrendered at the Spokane County Jail at 8 a.m. I wasn't there. Owen was. He called me at 9:15. It's done, she's processed. Arraignment is at 1 hours. How is she? Crying. Her lawyer's with her. Are you staying? Yeah. The DA wants me there. Good. I hung up, drove to the courthouse, parked 2 blocks away, walked through cold air that smelled like exhaust and snow. The courtroom was small, 3rd floor. I sat in the back row. Owen was in the front, beside a woman I didn't recognize. Assistant DA, probably. Dark suit, files stacked on the table. At 1:05, they brought Lucy in. Orange jail scrubs, hands cuffed in front. Her hair was pulled back, no makeup, face blotchy from crying. She didn't look at Owen, didn't look at anyone, just stared at the floor. The judge entered. Honorable Patricia Delgado, 60s, gray hair, sharp eyes. The State of Washington versus Lucy Ann Harding. Case number 21-1184732. Counsel, please state your appearances. The ADA stood. Sandra Ortiz for the state, Your Honor. David Brennan stood. David Brennan for the defendant. Ms. Harding, you've been charged with 4 counts. Criminal exploitation of a vulnerable adult, theft in the first degree, forgery, and identity theft. Do you understand these charges? Lucy's voice was barely audible. Yes. How do you plead? Not guilty. The judge made a note. Bail arguments? Ortiz stood. Your Honor, the state requests bail of $50,000. The defendant has demonstrated flight risk through multiple unauthorized trips to Nevada during the alleged criminal conduct. She has access to financial resources and has shown a pattern of deception. Brennan stood. Your Honor, Ms. Harding is a lifelong resident of Spokane. She has no prior criminal record. She has strong community ties. She voluntarily surrendered this morning. The state's characterization is inflammatory and unsupported. We request release on personal recognizance. Judge Delgado looked at the file. Bail is set at $50,000. Defendant is ordered to surrender her passport. No contact with the alleged victim, Margaret Harding, or any witnesses. Next hearing, February 24th, 9 a.m. Anything further? No, Your Honor. The judge left. Lucy was led out. She glanced at Owen once. He looked away. I left the courthouse before Owen could see me. At 3:30 he called. She posted bail. How? Her parents. They drove up from Boise. Did you talk to her? No, her lawyer told me to stay away. Good advice. Sam, the DA wants to negotiate a plea. They're offering a deal. What kind of deal? Plead no contest to exploitation and theft. Drop the forgery and identity theft charges. 3 years probation, full restitution, mandatory no contact order. No jail time? 18 months suspended. If she violates probation, she goes in. That's not enough. Sam, she'd be a felon. She'd lose her job. She'd have to repay everything. And if she contacts Mom, she goes to jail. She should go to jail now. Maybe. But the DA says a trial is risky. Mom's cognitive issues could hurt the case. A plea is guaranteed. I didn't answer. What do you think? He asked. I think you need to decide what you want. Justice or closure. I don't know. Then figure it out. I hung up. Tuesday, I took Mom to her cognitive evaluation. A neuropsychologist named Dr. Rashid spent 2 hours with her. Memory tests, reasoning tasks, capacity assessments. Afterward, he met with me in his office. Your mother shows mild cognitive impairment, consistent with early dementia. However, she's capable of understanding questions and providing reliable testimony. Her recall of recent traumatic events is clear. So she can testify? Yes, with accommodations, short sessions, frequent breaks, simple language. Will the defense challenge her competency? They might, but I'll provide an affidavit supporting her reliability. Thank you. Wednesday morning, the guardianship hearing. I wore a suit, brought the file. Met Margaret Chen in the courthouse hallway. Lucy's attorney filed an objection. He's arguing you're biased and that guardianship should go to a neutral party. That's absurd. I know. We'll refute it. Just answer the judge's questions directly. The hearing lasted 40 minutes. I testified. Carla Moss testified. Dr. Rashid's affidavit was entered as evidence. Brennan argued that I was motivated by animus toward his client, and that guardianship was punitive rather than protective. Judge Delgado listened. Then she ruled. Guardianship is granted to Samuel Harding. The evidence clearly demonstrates that Ms. Harding is a danger to the alleged victim, and that Mr. Harding has acted in his mother's best interest throughout this process. The objection is overruled. Brennan started to speak. The judge cut him off. I'm also issuing a restraining order. Lucy Harding is prohibited from contacting Margaret Harding by any means. Violation will result in immediate arrest. Next matter. Margaret Chen and I left the courthouse. She handed me the signed order. You have full authority now. Medical, financial, legal. Lucy is out. Thank you. The plea hearing is scheduled for March 3rd. Will you bring your mother? If she's able. It might help. Judges like to see victims. Humanizes the case. I drove to Cascade View, found Mom in the physical therapy room, walking with a walker. Rita was beside her. "Look who's here." Mom looked up, smiled slightly. "Samuel, you're walking." "They make me." "That's good." We went to her room. I told her about the guardianship. She nodded, didn't ask questions. Just said, "Does this mean I can go home soon?" "Next week, if Dr. Fan clears you." "Good. I miss my chair." "I know." That night, Owen called. "I filed for divorce today. How do you feel?" "Empty." "That's normal. The lawyer says it'll take 6 months minimum, longer if she contests it." "Will she?" "I don't know. She's not talking to me." "Good." Silence. "Sam, can we meet? I need to talk." "About what?" "About everything." "Not yet." "When?" "When I'm ready." I hung up. February passed slowly. Mom improved. Walked without the walker. Remembered most things. Forgot some. I visited daily. Brought books she liked. Read to her when she was tired. Owen kept his distance. Sent texts occasionally. I replied with 1 or 2 words. March 3rd arrived. Plea hearing. I picked Mom up at 8 a.m., dressed her in a blue cardigan and slacks. She looked small, but steady. "Where are we going?" "To court. Lucy is pleading guilty." "Do I have to see her?" "You'll be in the same room, but you don't have to talk to her." "Okay." We drove downtown, parked, walked into the courthouse. Sandra Ortiz met us in the hallway. "Mrs. Harding, I'm Sandra Ortiz. I'm the prosecutor. Thank you for coming." Mom nodded. "The hearing will be short. The judge will ask Lucy if she understands the plea. Then she'll be sentenced. You don't have to say anything unless you want to." "I don't want to." "That's fine." We entered the courtroom. I guided Mom to the front row. Owen was already there, 3 seats away. He looked at me. I looked away. At 9 Lucy was brought in. No handcuffs this time. She wore a gray dress, flats, no jewelry. Her face was pale, eyes red. She glanced at Mom. Mom stared straight ahead. Judge Delgado entered. "Ms. Harding, you're here to enter a plea of no contest to the charges of criminal exploitation of a vulnerable adult and theft in the 1st degree. Is that correct?" "Yes, Your Honor." "Do you understand that by pleading no contest, you're not admitting guilt, but you're accepting the consequences as if you were guilty?" "Yes." "Do you understand the terms of the plea agreement? 3 years supervised probation, restitution of $37,200, permanent no-contact order with the victim, and an 18-month suspended jail sentence?" "Yes." "Has anyone forced or coerced you into this plea?" "No." "Do you have any questions?" Lucy's voice broke. "No, Your Honor." "Very well. I accept the plea. Ms. Harding, you are hereby sentenced to 3 years supervised probation. You will pay full restitution in monthly installments of $1,000, beginning April 1st. You are prohibited from any contact with Margaret Harding. If you violate these terms, you will serve 18 months in county jail. Do you understand?" "Yes, Your Honor." "Additionally, you will complete 200 hours of community service and attend financial counseling. Anything further from counsel?" Ortiz stood. "No, Your Honor." Brennan stood. "No, Your Honor." "Then we're adjourned." Lucy turned, looked at Owen. He didn't look back. She walked past us. I felt Mom tense beside me. I put my hand on hers. Lucy kept walking. Outside, Mom sat on a bench. I brought her water from a fountain. "Is it over?" "Mostly." "Will she go to jail?" "Only if she breaks the rules." "Ah, she'll break them." I didn't argue. Owen approached, stopped a few feet away, looked at Mom. "Hi, Mom." She looked at him. No anger, just sadness. "Owen, I'm sorry, for all of it. I should have—" "It's done." He nodded, looked at me. "Sam, can we talk? Someday?" I looked at him, at the lines on his face, the weight in his eyes. "Maybe." "Okay." He turned and walked away. Mom watched him go. He loved her. I know. That doesn't make it hurt less. No. We sat there. The courthouse steps were cold. People walked past. Lawyers, defendants, families, everyone carrying their own weight. After a while, Mom stood. "Can we go home now?" "Yes." I drove her back to Cascade View. Rita met us at the door. How did it go? It's done. Good. I helped Mom to her room. She sat in her chair, looked out the window. The courtyard was empty. No birds today. Samuel, when can I really go home? Friday. Dr. Fan cleared you this morning. She smiled, small, tired. Good. I'll pick you up at 10, Haga. Will the house be warm? Yes. Will you stay? For a while? Good. I left at 2, Haug. Drove through gray streets under gray sky. Snow was melting. March thaw. At home, I sat at the table, opened the evidence file, 35 pages. I added the plea agreement, the sentencing order, the final restitution schedule, 37 pages. I closed the file, put it in a box, labeled it, Margaret Harding, case closed. Then I put it in the closet. That night, Owen sent a text. Thank you for not giving up on Mom and for not giving up on me. I stared at it for a long time. Then I replied, You're welcome. Nothing more. I made coffee, sat by the window, watched the snow melt under streetlights. Somewhere in the city, Lucy was going home to an empty house. Owen was signing divorce papers. Mom was sleeping in a rented bed, and I was here, holding the pieces. Tomorrow, I'd bring Mom home. Tomorrow we'd start over. But tonight I just sat in the dark and let the silence settle. Friday morning, March 5th, I picked Mom up from Cascade View at 10 a.m. She was dressed and waiting in the lobby, 2 bags packed. Rita stood beside her. She's all set. Medications, discharge instructions, follow-up appointments, everything's in the folder. Thank you. Rita squeezed Mom's hand. You take care of yourself, Margaret. I will. We drove through the city. Mom watched out the window, said nothing until we turned onto her street. The trees are budding. I looked. She was right. Pale green tips on the maples. Spring coming. I parked in the driveway, helped her out. She stood on the walkway and looked at the house. It's smaller than I remembered. It's the same size. I know. Inside, the house was warm. I'd cleaned everything. Dusted, vacuumed, washed the windows. Her reading chair was in its place, her books on the shelf, the TV remote on the side table. She walked through slowly, touched things. The back of the couch, the kitchen counter, the doorframe to her bedroom. I'd repainted it. Soft blue, the color she'd chosen years ago. New bedding, new curtains. The broken lock removed, replaced with a simple latch she could open from inside. She sat on the edge of the bed, ran her hand over the quilt. Thank you, Samuel. You're welcome. Will you stay? For now. How long is now? I don't know yet. She nodded. Lay back on the bed, closed her eyes. I'm tired. Rest. I'll make lunch. I left her door open, went to the kitchen, made soup and sandwiches. At one night, she came out, ate half a bowl, half a sandwich, more than she'd eaten in months. Afterward, she sat in her chair. I turned on the TV, a gardening show. She watched without speaking. At 3 calm, she looked at me. Is Owen coming? I don't know. Do you want him to? I don't know that either. She turned back to the TV. He's still your brother. I know. That evening, I made dinner. Chicken, rice, steamed carrots. She ate more than lunch, drank a full glass of water, took her medications without prompting. At 8 war, she went to bed. I checked on her at 9 quiet. She was asleep, breathing steady. I sat in the living room. No TV, just silence. My phone buzzed. Text from Patrick Riley. KeyBank deposited the restored funds. $19,700 plus interest. $2,140 total. Account is active and secure. I replied, thank you. Saturday I worked on the house. Changed the locks. All of them. New keys, new deadbolts. I gave Mom 1 key, kept 1 for myself. No one else. I went through the filing cabinet, organized everything. Birth certificates, insurance policies, tax returns. Put the house deed in a fireproof box. Called Margaret Chen about setting up a trust. I can draft it. Simple revocable trust. You as trustee, your mother as beneficiary. Protects the house from creditors and legal claims. How long? 2 weeks. $800. Do it. Sunday morning, Mom asked to go to church. I drove her to St. Augustine's. Sat beside her in the back pew. She prayed. I didn't. Afterward, Mrs. Alvarez approached, hugged Mom carefully. "Margaret, it's so good to see you. Thank you for helping Samuel. Of course, if you need anything, I'm right next door." We drove home. Mom was quiet. I made lunch. She ate, then napped. At 4, my phone rang. Owen. I let it ring. He didn't leave a voicemail. Monday, I went back to work. Part-time EMT shifts, 3 days a week. Mom was stable enough. I hired a home health aide to visit daily, check medications, help with bathing, make lunch. Her name was Diane, 55, calm, efficient. Mom liked her. "She doesn't talk too much," Mom said. "That's good?" "Yes." March passed. Rain instead of snow. Buds became leaves. Grass turned green. Mom improved slowly. Some days sharp, remembering everything. Other days foggy, asking the same questions. "When is Owen coming?" "I don't know." "Did I already eat lunch?" "Yes, an hour ago." "Oh." I learned not to correct her, just to answer. On March 29th, an envelope arrived. No return address. Portland postmark. Inside, a check for $6,200. No note, just Owen's signature, half the legal fees, guardianship attorney, filing costs, everything. I stared at it for a long time. Then I cashed it. Didn't call him, didn't text, just deposited the check and watched it clear. April arrived. The courtyard outside Mom's window filled with birds. Chickadees, robins, sparrows. She watched them every morning. "They're building nests," she said. "Yes, that means they're staying. For now." On April 15th, Lucy's first restitution payment was due. $1,000. I checked the account at 5 p.m. The payment had posted. I made a note in the file. 1 payment down, 36 to go. Owen sent a text. "How's Mom?" I replied. "Fine." He didn't respond. May. Warm air. Longer days. I planted tomatoes in Mom's garden. She watched from the porch. "Your father planted tomatoes every year." I remember. He never got to eat them. The birds did. "Maybe we'll have better luck." She smiled. "Maybe." I worked in the garden. Weeded. Watered. Staked the plants. Mom sat in her chair, wrapped in a blanket even though it was 60 degrees. "Samuel, are you happy?" I stopped digging. "I don't know. You should be. You saved me." I documented what happened. The system did the rest. "You didn't give up." "No. Your father would be proud." I didn't answer. Just kept digging. On May 10th, another envelope from Portland. This time, a note inside. "Sam, I'm sorry. For everything. I should have listened. I should have been there. I know it doesn't fix anything, but I needed you to know. Owen unsigned. Like the check." I read it twice. Then I put it in the filing cabinet. Didn't reply. Mom asked about him less. Some days, she forgot she had 2 sons. Some days, she remembered and looked sad. I didn't bring him up. June. Heat. The tomatoes grew. Birds nested. Mom spent mornings on the porch, afternoons napping. Diane came daily. Made lunch, checked vitals, helped with showers. Mom tolerated it. "She's kind," Mom said. Yes. Not like Lucy. No. Lucy's name came up less often. When it did, Mom's face darkened. Then she'd forget and ask something else. On June 20th, the trust was finalized. The house officially transferred into Margaret Harding Living Trust. Sam Harding, trustee, protected, secured, untouchable. I filed the documents, added them to the box, closed it. July. The tomatoes ripened. I picked them, brought them inside. Made salad. Mom ate 3 slices. "These are good. Thank you. Better than store-bought." "Yes." She looked at me. One of her clear days. "Samuel, you don't have to stay here forever." "I know. You have your own life. This is my life right now. But someday we'll figure it out." She nodded, went back to her salad. That evening, I sat on the porch, watched the sky fade from blue to purple to black, heard crickets, felt the warm air. My phone buzzed. "Owen, can we talk?" I looked at the message, thought about it. Then I replied, "Not yet." He didn't respond. August. The tomatoes kept coming. I gave them to neighbors. Mrs. Alvarez made salsa, brought me a jar. Tell your mother I'm thinking of her. I will. Mom and I ate the salsa with chips, sat on the porch, watched the birds. This is nice, she said. Yes. Quiet. Yes. She closed her eyes. I like quiet. On August 30th, I got a notification from the probation department. Lucy had completed 6 months of probation. No violations. Payments current. I made a note, closed the file. September. Leaves started turning. The air cooled. Mom's health was stable, memory still inconsistent, but physical strength good. She walked without help. Cooked simple meals. Watched her shows. Diane reduced visits to 3 times a week. I kept working. 3 shifts, sometimes 4. Came home, made dinner, sat with Mom. Routine. On September 15th, Owen sent another text. I'm moving to Portland permanently. New job. Starting over. I understand if you don't want to talk, but I wanted you to know. I read it 3 times. Then I replied, good luck. He responded immediately, thank you. Tell Mom I love her. I showed Mom the message. She read it slowly. Will you tell him I love him too? If you want. I do. I texted Owen. She says she loves you too. He sent back a heart emoji, nothing else. I set the phone down. Mom looked at me. Will you forgive him someday? I don't know. That's okay. You don't have to. I know. October, cold mornings. The tomato plants died. I pulled them up, composted them. Mom watched from the window. Her breath fogged the glass. Winter's coming. Yes, I don't like winter. I know. But she was safe. Warm house, full fridge. Medications organized, bills paid, everything in order. On October 31st, Lucy's 18th restitution payment posted. Halfway through the schedule. $18,000 paid, $19,200 remaining. I made a note. Didn't think about her, just recorded the number. November. 1 year since I'd found Mom locked in her room. I didn't mention it, neither did she, but I thought about it. Thought about the broken door, the empty pill bottles, the cold house, thought about how close it had been. On November 10th, I was drinking coffee on the porch. Mom was inside, watching TV. A truck pulled up, Owen's truck. I set my coffee down, watched him get out. He walked slowly up the path, stopped at the bottom of the porch steps. Hi, Sam. Owen. Can I see Mom? I looked at him. He'd lost weight, hair grayer, lines deeper. Does she know you're coming? No. I wanted to ask you first. Why? Because it's your house now. You're in charge. I stood. Wait here. I went inside, found Mom in her chair. Owen's outside. He wants to see you. She looked up, surprised. Then something else. Sadness, maybe. Or relief. Does he want to come in? If you'll let him. She thought about it. Long silence. Yes. I went back outside. She'll see you. Thank you. He followed me in, stopped in the doorway. Mom turned off the TV, looked at him. Owen. Hi, Mom. He crossed the room, knelt beside her chair. She touched his face. You look tired. I am. Are you eating? Not enough. You should eat. He smiled. Barely. I know. I left them alone. Went to the kitchen. Made coffee I didn't drink. 15 minutes later, Owen came out. Eyes red. Thank you. I nodded. He paused at the door. Sam, I know I can't fix what happened, but I'm trying to be better. Good. If you ever want to talk, I'll let you know. He left. Mom called from the living room. Samuel? I went back in. She was crying. Quiet tears. Are you okay? Yes, I'm just... She wiped her eyes. I'm just sad. I know. He's sorry. I know. Are you? Sorry? Angry. I sat on the couch. Thought about it. Not anymore. Good. Anger's too heavy. Yes. She turned the TV back on. I stayed on the couch. Outside, the sky was gray. Wind rattled the windows, but inside the house was warm. December. Snow. Not much. Just enough to cover the grass. Mom and I decorated for Christmas. Small tree, lights, a few ornaments. Owen sent a card, a check for $500 inside, for Mom. Oh, I gave Mom the card. She read it, smiled, set it on the mantel. Will you invite him for Christmas? Do you want me to? Maybe. I texted him. Mom says you're welcome for Christmas dinner. Tu cas. Let me know. He replied immediately, "I'll be there. Thank you." Christmas Day. I made turkey, mashed potatoes, green beans. Owen arrived at 1:45, brought wine and pie. We ate at the table. Mom between us. She told stories about Dad, about us as kids. Owen laughed. I almost did. At 4 hours he left, hugged Mom, shook my hand. "Thank you, Sam." "You're welcome." After he left, Mom went to bed early. I cleaned up, washed dishes, put leftovers away, sat on the porch with coffee. Snow falling soft and slow. My phone buzzed. Patrick Riley. "Lucy completed 1 year of probation. No violations. Payments on schedule. Just wanted you to know." I replied, "Thanks." Set the phone down. Looked at the street. At the snow. At the quiet. Everything was in order. Mom was safe. The house was secure. Lucy was gone. Owen was trying. Not forgiven, but trying. I finished my coffee, went inside, locked the door. Then I unlocked it, left it that way. In Mom's room, I checked on her. She was asleep, breathing steady. I turned off the light, closed the door most of the way, left it open just enough. In the kitchen, I rinsed my cup, set it on the counter. 7 pill bottles lined up beside it, all full, all labeled, all on schedule. I counted them. 7. Same as the first night, but this time they weren't empty. I turned off the lights, went to my room, lay in bed, listened to the house, the furnace humming, the wind outside, the quiet. Tomorrow I'd wake up, make coffee, check on Mom, go to work, come home, make dinner, routine, not happiness, but peace. The quiet kind, the kind you earn. I closed my eyes and slept.